thoughts.
you do with it.
Yeah, that was helpful to hear.
Well, we're going to talk about books that we've read recently, and Lori, you're going to start us off here.
Yeah, this is actually a book I've been wanting to share with you guys for a while, so I'm kind of excited for this opportunity. I read this book this fall. It's called Sensible Shoes. It's a novel by Sharon Garlough Brown, and actually, Melinda, I think you brought this to my attention. I
think Janet Davis or somebody got me onto it.
Yeah.
And I haven't read it yet, but you've told me about it.
I recommend it. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. Absolutely loved it. It's a book about 4 women and their spiritual journey for this set amount of time.
And it's written as a novel, right? It's fiction, but with depth.
Right. So much depth. I felt like every time I picked it up, I was challenged spiritually. But it was written in such a normal way. What I loved about it was you hear the voice of a ministry leader and her journey from perfectionism, codependency. Her identity is her job, and some grief, and a lot of issues that she's working through. And then there's a woman who just recently had a huge loss in her life, and so she was working through that. Another woman has a lot of sin baggage. She's a new Christian, and she's trying to sort through God's grace and His love for her in the midst of all this stuff that she's still kind of carrying with her. She's in a real troubled marriage, and then the last woman is a perfectionist. She's controlling. She's real legalistic, and so these 4 women are together. They're kind of thrown together, journeying together through these Saturday morning meetings. They call it. What do they call it now? I forgot it, but it's like a.
Is it like a small group?
It's like a small group setting, led by a woman and who takes her through several spiritual practices that are helpful to just draw closer to God. And I loved it, and I felt like she addresses so many great issues with honesty, about anger at God even, and being really honest and transparent and just walking through life with God, like right there. I think I told you two, Anita and Melinda, while I was reading it, that following these women and their journeys, it was interesting to see how once they were shown how to do this spiritual practice, then they went through their days with this mindset, fully mindful that God is present with them and will help them and will, guide them. And that sounds like simple, I guess, but for me, it's like, I've been a Christian for a long time, and still I forget sometimes that God is right there with me. He's helping me, and I can come to Him at any time.
You watched them work that out in those situations, those 4 situations.
Right, and it was just beautiful. I loved it.
I'm thinking of a recent email we got a couple weeks ago after the body image program, Anita, from a man who was listening to Midday with some other men, and he said, I don't understand why today you talked 90% about what the world thinks about body image and only 10% about Scripture. And what I hear is you talking about this book, Lori. The deal is, friend, that women want to process.
It's process-oriented.
We want to tell it. We want to say it. We want to say what we see, what we hear, and how we feel it.
Yeah. If our body image program had been for men, it would have looked totally different.
Right.
But it wasn't,
It might have been 60 seconds long, actually.
Well, you know what else? You're just hearing you talk about this. You're funny. I heard that. Hearing you talk about also the spiritual practices and kind of taking those with them actually made me think of our whole thought life thing too, and that if we were engaged in as we engage in spiritual practices, that is something that can also help us in that way. Anyway, just sparked that thought in me.
Yeah.
I have to say, after hearing you talk about this book when you first started reading it, I've downloaded it to my iPad. I've not started reading it yet.
Okay, what's it called again, Lauren? It's called Sensible Shoes, and it's by Sharon Garlough Brown. And I just loved
Garlough Brown.
I cried at the end. It was just beautiful, like in a good way, you know. And
is it at the end everything gets wrapped up?
No,
perfectly,
which I love.
Oh, I like happily ever after.
That's not true life.
It's not.
So that's Sensible Shoes. If I have time.